Do you yearn for travel that involves outdoor adventure and learning? I do. I also have a passion for all things farming and agriculture. I've traveled to exotic jungles to learn about growing chocolate. I even once owned my own organic vegetable and sunflower farm. And now I'm planning my journey back to agriculture. Agritourism, defined as travel that involves some type of agricultural experience. Agritourism is all about entertaining. But the marketing strategist in me knows that at its core, agritourism is really about educating, and education affects change. My future farm needs to deliver a profound experience to all of its visitors. It needs to educate people about food, health, and climate. Join me to learn from experienced agritourism farmers and entrepreneurs and help me build my future farm strategy. And who knows, maybe one day soon you'll find yourself in a tropical jungle cutting open cacao pods with a machete, or savoring an outdoor plant-to-plate community dinner with 100 guests at a farm in Illinois. So let's tap into the agritourist in you. I sat down with Peter Carlson of Wright Old School Chocolate to explore his journey from chocolate enthusiast to bean-to-bar maker. What began as a simple curiosity, sparked by family and a few eye-opening experiences, quickly evolved into something much deeper, a desire to truly understand chocolate at its source. There's a quiet honesty in this conversation that I really appreciate. Peter shares what it actually looks like to step beyond being a consumer and into the role of a creator, the trial and error, the surprises, and the realization that something that seems simple isn't. From sourcing cacao to refining his process, his story reflects that moment so many of us have in food and agriculture, when appreciation turns into respect. As always, this episode is also about connection. Connection to ingredients, to the people and places behind them, and to the process itself. It's also a reminder that when you take the time to understand something more deeply, even something as familiar as chocolate, it can shift the way you see it entirely. And maybe, just maybe, it invites you to get a little more curious too. This is Jen Ross, your Agri-Tourist Podcast host and chocolate enthusiast. Please leave us a review, subscribe, and share this podcast. Enjoy my episode with Peter Carlson. I'm excited to explore your world of chocolate.
Okay.
And I was so excited to know that someone, I know about Good Now Farms. I've bought a lot of their chocolate and I visited their site and I've done an interview with them, but I didn't know you existed. I also know about Tangle Chocolate, which they're west, like even more west of us. I don't know. Do you know, are you familiar with them at all?
No. Last week I visited a Sarah Shapiro who was Wild Child Chocolate in Somerville.
Oh, okay. So yeah, like there's like all this underground stuff going on. Tangle is interesting. It's not like bean to bar bars that she's doing, but she does these, they're like these little strips of chocolate, and it's an interesting box. When you open the box, it kind of slides and you take out like a little strip or slip of chocolate and it's like 11 calories or something. Not that that's the point, but I guess just to give you a visual of it. And then she has like a chocolate mint one and then, like all different varieties of it. But she has a cafe and I can't remember the town it's in. It's on the way to the Berkshires. It's about 40 minutes from east of the Berkshires. And she has it's this amazing little shop and she sells coffee and some other things and she does a lot of events and music events there. It's become like this community hub spot, but it's called Tangle Chocolate. Definitely look them up because it sounds
like it's near Pelham or Belchertown, maybe.
It's not it's not Belchertown, but it's definitely on the way in that vicinity. And I'll if you look it up, it'll come up her town, but cute little town. And she's right in the middle and she has one of those, those glass garage doors that opens and it's just really nice. She's really created this unique experience around chocolate, but it's not traditional. It's not like she's selling bars in a traditional sense, but definitely something worth checking out. I think it's different. It's very different. So
It sounds like a gift my daughter gave me for Christmas, or because she we all she got me involved with chocolate from going to San Francisco and getting into seeing Cho and Dandelion and all that. And Dandelion happened to be a favorite, so I kept on going back there. This Christmas, she gave me a couple of nice display cases of chocolate with from Dandelion, and had that Japanese motif of small cubes with a wooden fork to sample each of the pieces.
that's
So that was a
interesting.
treat. Yeah.
Excellent. So tell me about that. So your daughter is responsible for all of this.
Yeah, I don't know if you've looked at my website,
I
but
have looked at your website, yes.
yeah,
And so just tell me the story. Like
yeah,
where did this all come from? Because not everyone, there's enjoying chocolate and then there's us who actually goes really deep and visits countries and really wants to understand the agriculture behind chocolate and really
correct.
what is chocolate, the essence of chocolate. So tell me about your story on how you got involved or how your daughter inspired you to get involved.
Yeah, somehow she had a keen observation that I like chocolate somehow. I don't know how that came about, but over years of watching me devour chocolate, I think she realized that I had an affinity. But I didn't really know chocolate. I knew what consumerism has told us chocolate is. Um, when she lived in San Francisco and she and her husband brought me to different places like Cho and Dandelion. And so Cho, I had the first experience of seeing how the whole process comes together. And then Dandelion, I went through the tour a few times in different locations and kept on going back there for the European chocolate drink because that's the quickest way to get chocolate into your system, I think. So,
I've never been, but I the when I went to Belize, Dandelion was partnering with Emily Stone on that trip.
sure.
So I experienced Dandelion and they brought a lot of their chocolate with them.
Mhm.
And so I got to experience it there, but I never was able to go there. So I'm really curious. When you were there and you went through some of those tours, what was going through your mind? Like what really interested you? Like what inspired you in those moments?
Well, the first few times I went there, I hadn't been making chocolate. So that was just for the enjoyment of the good chocolate that tasted there. Um, Later on, after Beth and Jordan, her husband, bought me the book of Dandelion and how they started out, um, my story goes that in 4 weeks I had devoured the book, got ingredients, got equipment, and made 4 bars and went out surfing with them. So, and then that started my production of Right Old School chocolate.
So where did the name come from?
Wright is my middle name. Beth wanted or really liked how I wrote my signature out, and we zeroed in on the W as what was important. So Peter Wright, Peter W. Carlson, or Peter Wright Carlson, they focused on the W, and then I had to write my name out 40 or more times. And the graphic designer, her husband, took all those 40 and coalesced them into a design that is pretty attractive, I think.
Excellent.
So that's the
That's
W part.
great.
And then Wright is the whole middle name. Old School is a nickname from coaching basketball. I um, was coaching and took a hook shot one time, and people yelled out, "Oh, Old School!" And it kind of stuck. I borrowed that in chocolate, thinking that was tradition and passion, and
I
thought it
like
would be
that.
good to add in. And then the word chocolate was stuck at the end for branding for sure.
So I have to ask, you played basketball and you coached, or you just coached?
I I played a lot growing up for sure, about 4 hours a day in high school and beyond. I went to UMass Amherst and Rick Pitino and all played a little bit better than I did, so I didn't play out there, but continued uh, with playing just on my own. And when Nicholas, my son, became of age to play basketball, I started coaching. because I realized that the coaching he was getting was not as good as I could do. So he and I went to basketball camp so I could relearn some of the tools of coaching, and
Yep.
that helped out in making sure that I understood the game. And then I coached JV ball at a high school, and yeah, that's where the nickname came about.
I like it. Excellent. My youngest plays basketball and she has a passion and she's also doing some coaching for some travel teams and stuff like that. So it's a different, so that's why I was curious.
Yeah, I
So
coached the rec league and then the travel league and then junior high, and yeah,
yeah, do you like coaching? Did you enjoy it?
I did. It was yeah, I liked the telling them or trying to figure out how to blend all the personality and skills together, and also tried to teach them the why and not only the how, but to get them interested in figuring out why it's important to do the different steps.
Yep,
And
that's great. Yeah, there's a lot to it, and to be an effective and you're not just a coach, you're inspiring these students, and in different ways. So I think it's a really important role, and sometimes it's not done that well. So it's just interesting watching my daughter embrace it and watching the players, how they respond. So it's kind of cool to watch. Um,
in rec league
so
in particular, I would have the loudest parent that I thought was not helping with the situation be the scorekeeper. So
Okay, I think I might need to put her in touch with you for some strategies, especially on the parent management, because that's
yeah,
probably the toughest part.
yeah,
But yeah, I think it's wonderful. A wonderful extension of playing a sport, to be able to deliver that back to other people. So really, I think important. So back to chocolate. Okay. So that for in those 4 weeks where you read the book and you made your chocolate bars, what was that experience of? Look, I've done like I've taken trips, I've given chocolate tastings just because I want to tell other people and promote companies that I've worked with and just been to and stuff, and really trying to inspire people about what chocolate really is. I've never made it, and I have no desire to make it. And so I'm always intrigued when people take that leap. Like that's why all these bean to bar makers, I love going to visit and just talking with them. I'm just not good at that piece, and I don't want to do that piece. So I'm intrigued by what inspired you to say, yeah, I want to do this. Like I really want to mix this and figure this out, because it's not it's a you break down the steps, it seems quote unquote simple, especially compared to like coffee production, but it's not simple. There's a lot to it and a lot that
there
can go
is.
wrong.
Um, I yeah, I was under the impression that chocolate would be pretty easy because most things came pretty easily to me. My chemistry background helped me out quite a bit in making sure that I understood the crystal structures and all that. Um, but first name that came to mind before we went out to deliver those first 4 bars and go surfing out in Hawaii with Beth and Jordan. Before the name was created and the branding and all that, um, what came to mind was how about temper tantrums as a name? Because it was very hard to get the right tempering for sure by hand.
I
So
can imagine.
why why did I want to jump in there? I wanted things. Well, I knew one thing: I'd be horrible in retirement without activities. So I wanted to make sure that that was something that I had as a fallback. I also wanted to make sure that when I made chocolate, I made it in a way that was pure, so that friends that I know have different allergies and nut allergies and all. I want to make sure that I had the most simple, purest formulation with the most robust taste. So
Yep.
I could do that with my roasting and refinement process, and it was something that always tasted good, and aesthetics took a little bit more time to develop. Um, and baking it first in the basement downstairs in a 1 kilo batch was time consuming and messy, and as I and not commercialized at all. So I had to figure out how to make it in a bigger scale to see if it would be worthwhile. So I brought all those equipment scaled up and made it in a special room in my cellar, and got ready to get some permitting from the town to get it all commercialized, and ran into some obstacles there. Um,
Always.
yeah,
It's just a rite
so
of passage.
yeah, my wife kind of saw the face turn from a normal hue to a ghost white, as they said, "No, you can't make it at home." So then I started the search of trying to find a home for making chocolate,
Yeah.
and that still is my biggest expense, my rent for my space.
Yeah. I just want to go back. So when you made those first batches, who were your taste testers?
I have never had a problem with taste testers. They've always been abundant. So,
Are those
um,
trusted individuals? Were you
um,
nervous when you first, I mean, obviously you were tasting it, but were you a little nervous?
the taste of the chocolates wasn't an issue. I mean, it tasted good. I didn't know how good until much later, um, because as I started to sell it and started to get involved with different folks in the chocolate industry, their input to me was quite encouraging. Particularly this last trip, I went to Peru and brought some of my chocolate, even some of my milk chocolate that I've resisted for years to make because I didn't really want to divert from the dark side. So I bought some of that milk chocolate, and um, that's even pretty pure because it just has four ingredients. It has just the nibs and unrefined sugar, plus extra cocoa butter and coconut powder milk. So I'm still going on the algae-free type of chocolate. And
Okay. So,
then some
okay. So
tasters
it's
there.
still vegan because you said it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Perfect. Like
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
vegan, so I was curious. I like that little aspect because I know it says you had said your description says bean to bar vegan chocolate.
right.
Um, so where are you sourcing from now? Because you, I guess, where have you traveled to personally to source? And do you always travel to source, or are you, relying on, like I know obviously Emily's company, Uncommon Cacao helps companies like you out in sourcing from different areas. But I know a lot of bean to bar makers will go down and actually visit the farms and source directly.
Yeah. You mentioned Goodnow and Monica and Rogan and all. She goes out and sources. I've only been to Peru last summer to source one of my beans. The Peru Awahun location is one that I've really thought would be great for my formulations, and I've started making 80% from that. Usually, I do trust and cherish the transparency that Emily Stone gives us in the industry. So I do rely a lot on her.
Which is
It's,
great. I mean,
yeah,
she's doing great work and it's a great like her business is very authentic
yeah,
and it's helping the industry.
and yeah, anything that promotes fine chocolate and does it in a way that helps the whole supply chain from growers on is really great, and it also helps us all try to figure out where we stand in our ability to help agrobiodiversity, because without our purchasing power, we'd be left with only a couple of different varieties of things.
Yep,
So,
absolutely. So tell me about your trip to Peru. Was that the first time you were there?
It's the first time in South America for sure. We had a great tour that was organized by Cocoa Life. They're a Peru-based company that has a distributorship in Vancouver. Um, so two of them, Marco and Aurelio, led the tour, and Aurelio's wife Stephanie did a great job of organizing it as well. Um, we had 12 chocolate makers on the tour, so it
That's
was an
great.
immediate community.
Yes.
Yeah, we had great conversations. There was um, no storming mode of the forming a team. You know, if the team usually develops in different stages, and this one congealed very quickly, and we all got along great.
Were
We
the
had
chocolate makers from all over the country? Or
they're actually all over, and
that's great.
yeah, we had people that were from Canada, from United States, and um, Peru. Um, but the people had diverse, uh, actually,
I
funny
saw him come down the stairs. He's
stuff.
welcome to say hi. I love animals. That's
Um,
great.
yeah, she's our fourth poodle, fourth Sienna
Oh,
poodle. So
oh.
we had people from France,
Oh, wow. So
Russia,
literally all over the world.
yeah,
Okay.
and yeah, from Wisconsin, Florida, and Massachusetts. Um, the one from Florida, she's a great chocolate maker and is known in the industry. She actually grew up in Walpole, Mass, which is where I manufacture now. And she was also the person that connected um, Victoria Kitchug of Cocoa Bean Town um, that to travel on this tour. And Victoria invited myself and my wife to come along as well. So we had some good connections there. Actually, Marco, one of the organizers, was a little bit curious about myself and my wife and Victoria because he hadn't known us, but he had dealt with everybody else in the group. So didn't know about how someone like myself might not only get along, but also keep up with the activities. And soon found that was not a problem at all.
That's excellent. So what did you do down there?
We went to various cacao farms. We saw a lot of pods on the trees of all different colors and sizes, and
And is that the
went
first time you actually was that the first time you were actually at a farm or
when 4 weeks after I had made my first bars, we went to a farm in Hawaii. Um,
okay.
it was Steelgate, now Lingate,
Okay.
in Kauai. So that was my first time back in 2018.
Okay. It
So
is an experience. I mean,
yeah.
how did you feel when you were in Peru at one of those farms? Like, what did it feel like? Because I know I described those experiences and they're amazing. So
Yeah, I was struck by the diversity of each farm's character. Um, some were very tidy at the floor of the orchard or whatever you want to call the growing area, and some were not. Um, and we learned a little bit about pruning and how the air needs to circulate and to avoid any of the diseases and all that. So I was involved and intrigued by the the growing part of it and looking at um, how strange it is of a plant that it grows all over the tree on the branches and the trunks and everything.
it
So
is.
it's bizarre.
It is. It's very unique. But even just I mean, I don't know. I presume Peru would be similar to some of the countries but just the ecosystem that it grows in and that how everything is supporting each other, it was just amazing to me. Like I don't know when you were walking through, like when they were taking you on tours, like our guys would have machetes and be cutting things off for us to taste, like other things other than cacao, obviously. And it was magical, like just being part
Mm.
of that ecosystem and seeing how it just all fed into each other and
Yeah.
how
In
we,
Hawaii, I got more of that than in Peru.
okay,
Hawaii had a bunch of different fruits and vanilla beans and all growing. Um,
amazing.
and yeah, vanilla had to be pollinated by hand, so that was tricky as well.
Yeah,
But
vanilla's a tough. Now we understand why vanilla is so expensive. Like you don't realize the expense. When you're buying things, vanilla, the price of vanilla is really expensive, and now I understand why. Like until you actually experience things like this, you don't understand like how some of this is sourced and what it takes to grow it and to source it and to harvest it, and the whole process is pretty amazing. So, what was your wife's like? I mean, she was in Hawaii with you, I presume.
yes,
Like her,
and in Peru.
how is she going through this? Like, what was her take on all this as she's kind of going through this experience with you?
Um, she really enjoyed the Peru trip. Her favorite chocolate is my golden chocolate, which is not white because I don't have white sugar. I have unrefined sugar. So her idea of dark chocolate is not her first go-to for chocolate. However, in Peru, her palate expanded quite a bit, and
Nice.
it was good. And she enjoyed all the conversations for sure. She didn't get involved as much as some of us in the details of how to refine and
Yeah.
pre-grind and everything else and how what the best equipment is. But in all, she enjoyed the trip immensely and the people because it was a great crew.
Yeah.
So
So, when you look back at that trip, what was the highlight of the trip? And then you ended up sourcing from, was it one of the farms or is it more of like a cooperative that you're sourcing from?
yeah, it was a co-op, but it was the Awahun tribe. So
Okay.
they um, they actually gave a ceremony to us
Oh,
of
wow.
getting dressed up in their bright orange, red tunic-like dresses,
Wow.
and showed us what it was like to have a ceremony. That um, at the end of the night of the ceremony, the elders of the tribe would announce who was getting married that night. So that's a kind of a different culture than we were used to.
Wow.
So I was part of the dancing, but unfortunately I wasn't married off. So uh,
That's
but
funny.
we did more than look at the all the process, the expense of drying and all the fermentation techniques. We also did some sightseeing. So there's a third highest waterfall in the world, GOCTA. I always stumble on the pronunciation. Uh, Gatak Falls. We trekked down there, and some of the adventurous people went in the cold water. But and then we also went to a fortress in the sky, Kalub. It's older than Machu Picchu and bigger, but
Wow.
it's not as populated. So we enjoyed trekking through that too. Um,
Sounds exciting.
and the last day um, of the 12th day, the week we were there was at a chocolate festival, Salunda Chocolate in Lima. It's bigger than the one in Seattle each year. So I
Oh,
think that's
wow.
the first time that I've ever really had so much chocolate. I actually got a little bit of a headache from the day.
Before we leave Peru, what was something you tasted down there, like chocolate wise, that was different or something that kind of stayed with you? Or was there a specific type of chocolate or a bean or Sometimes I know there's the drink, is there something that you tasted down there that stayed with you that you kind of were like, this is different or something I want to bring back?
To me, almost every location has its own flavor. So, yeah, and seeing and tasting all the different beans became almost overwhelming at some point. But the Awahun bean was something that I zeroed in on as something that I thought would make a really good taste for me. So yeah,
Excellent.
I did bring that one back.
Excellent. Do you have any future trips planned?
Not yet. Um,
Are there any specific countries that you would like to visit that you're targeting?
um, my next visit is actually Barcelona and Madrid, but they don't grow cacao.
They don't grow
So
cacao, but you'll find something to do with chocolate, I'm sure.
yeah, I'm sure.
Chocolate people find they find it. So tell me about your product. So now you have a production facility, and what was the? It's in
It's in
Warp.
Walpole.
Warp. Okay. And how did you find that? Because obviously, any type of commercial kitchen or whatever the qualifications are. I know even here on Long Island, like I've always had clients who've had huge challenges with finding kitchen, approved kitchens, to use. So did you have a lot of challenges finding something, or was that an
It's
easy
not
part?
an easy task to find a kitchen. So uh, what I did find was a series of 12 kitchens in one building that each have their own keypad to get into their rooms.
Oh,
So it's considered a ghost kitchen. And that's something that I really wanted because the places I looked at before were shared areas and some of my processes go for 24 hours or more. And I didn't want any taste testing done by a finger in those pots. So in the refinement melangers. So that was a consideration. Also, I didn't want any shellfish near me. I wanted to keep it as pure as I could for allergen reasons. So having a ghost kitchen where only I go in and have access to the room is real critical. Um, and
why
I
is
was,
that a ghost kitchen? I've never heard that term. I'm intrigued by that.
I don't know the origin of it. I can guess that it's a ghost kitchen because it doesn't have any um, retail aspect to it usually.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
just a manufacturing site.
Okay. So that's what you have now. Uh,
Right.
okay. And okay, so you're producing there, and tell me about the chocolate. What your chocolate. Tell me about your line of chocolate, and how that's evolving. And then I do want to talk about how you're distributing it. And I know you've done tours and chocolate tastings and stuff like that. So I do want to get into that. But tell me about the chocolate itself.
The chocolate is basically two ingredients for all the dark chocolate. So what I do is I have the nibs. So after sort, excuse me, after sorting the beans and um, roasting them, I'll winnow them to get off the husk and go through a process to refine them. And early in the refinement process, I add my unrefined sugar. So those two ingredients are the only things in there that makes it very vegan friendly. And even the unrefined sugar doesn't pass through bone black. So that's an added aspect to make it more vegan friendly than the white
Yeah,
sugar.
amazing. People have like you would have no clue about that, you know?
Yeah. So yeah. So white sugar is always made that color or removal of color by passing it through an organic carbon substance that will help pull that out, which is a great process, but it's not exactly vegan friendly.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
um, so the during the refinement process in the melandra, it's not like Taza that has the vertical stones, but I have the the rotating stones that a traditional melange would have. So I try to make it as smooth as I can while keeping all of the flavor notes that I want to keep. I want to have a large profile, so it can excite all parts of your taste buds for sure. And I don't add any spices in, so I don't trigger any of the pain receptors in your mouth for spices. So, which is something my wife likes because she doesn't like anything that's spicy. Um, so, just those two ingredients are what I use to move forward in the process and do the tempering, which I don't do much by hand unless it's a very, very small batch. And then I use a tempering machine that's continuous, so it helps me get the right um, temperature during the dosing of the moles, and that sets up well after vibration and make sure that we have a good bar or some flowers. So I have two different shapes I usually go to. It's usually a bar that has my W on it, or smaller flowers that my wife thinks are easy to share. And I always look at her and say, share chocolate. So, and yeah, so the bars are my main sellers. For the first few years, I resisted doing anything but dark chocolate. Um, and then I decided to expand into milk chocolate a little bit. And as I said before, even that's vegan friendly because I use coconut powder milk.
Right.
Um, as far as the range of products, I go as low or as sweet as 70% and up to 90% in different bars, and try to match the flavor of the bean with the amount of sugar that needs to be added. When I had a particular when I first tasted beans from Philippines, I realized that the nibs really didn't need much sugar. So I did a 90%, and that's actually the only 90% that I have tasted that doesn't taste chalky to me. So it
I
usually
have to
gets
try it. Yeah, that's it. 90% is tough.
no.
Yes.
So
Wow.
yeah, and then so another thing is what you have chocolate with. So there's chocolate just by eating chocolate, or it pairs well with a bunch of different things. And when I'm giving different talks, I list all those different things of wine and spices and brandy and coffee and everything like that. But but on the slide, this one thing is omitted, and I usually say, and it goes best with friends. So I usually add that in.
I like that. I like that a lot. So you introduced the quote unquote milk. How is that done since you introduced that?
How is it sold? So
Yeah, how have people been very receptive to it?
yeah, like um, every time I go and present or talk about chocolate or even go to markets and all, it's an education process because um, people are expecting um, the commercialized big box stuff.
Yeah.
And from there, I have to emphasize what I do and the simplicity of it and the robust tasting of it. So from dark chocolate to milk chocolate, it's a similar game. It's not what you expect from milk chocolate. It does have a lot more flavor to it. So that means that people are definitely surprised when they taste it. They said, "Oh, this doesn't taste like the milk chocolate I know." Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, because they're so used to that. So
yeah.
so tell me about where are you selling? Like where do you sell your chocolate? How do you distribute it? Where can people find it?
So the easiest place to find it always is on my website because you can find that, and that one of the pages on the website has events. So that's an easy way to find out what markets I'm at and all that. I also mentioned a few stores in there, but stores in my product haven't been that good a match because people, when they buy chocolate, have to be in the mood for chocolate for sure. And you have to find the right um, people that have the right mood to want to buy it. And matching that up with the right stores and all is not very easy. And I don't like to give a high percentage of my income to the stores. So the relationship with
Yeah.
stores has not been the greatest. My greatest influence is at markets. And it's also where I get to meet people and talk with them. So I appreciate that too.
Yeah, you're creating that connection. You get to educate them. Yeah, I saw you were involved in a lot of winter markets and stuff like that as well. So do you do market? I mean, obviously the weather being warm is hard, but do you do markets throughout the season or
Yeah. So in the summer, I do have a cabinet that I've built that helps me bring the temperature down inside the cabinet about 7 degrees or so from the outside. Um, that helps out quite a bit. When I built it, I didn't realize the advantage of keeping the weather out and also keeping little fingers out. So that was an advantage too.
yeah.
Um, but when it gets really hot, then I transfer to coolers and put out bars that look like my bars, but are actually pieces of plywood. So little Luan pieces. And there is one bar that I wish I had a little camera attached to it because someone stole one of the cardboard bars. And I imagine when they opened it up, they were a bit
Oh.
surprised. And they never complained about it though. So
Well, I think they they realized
yeah.
that's funny. Um, so do you I saw that you I don't know if you do this regularly. Do you do tours? Like do you bring people through your chocolate making in your ghost kitchen?
I do. It's not a very large facility, so I have to limit the number of folks.
Okay.
And usually, yeah, it's a quite an education process, an entertaining process, I think. So the people who come over enjoy it quite a bit. Um, I also have done some teaching at a junior high and also at an adult ed situation. So those sessions have been um, good in that the teacher gave a feedback to me that, boy, the kids paid attention today. So,
That's always a win.
yeah.
That's terrific though. Hey, what an education. So what is your vision? Like what do you I guess what are your messages with this? Like what fulfills you about this and what else do you want to do with this that is fulfilling for you?
Um, at some point, I think that I probably will want to not do all the production. I'll need to step back at some point. So I'm putting together some information now about what I think would be advantageous for growth and what might take to do an acquisition of my company. But um, what I have for success, what I measure success by is not actually the amount of revenue, but more the amount of pleasure that I get from seeing the smiles and returning customers. So that's rewarding for sure.
Excellent.
And yeah, it's nice to have those customers, but it's also nice to instill upon them the idea that um, the world is needing some help. We have some ecological overshoot here, and we're consuming more goods than and producing more waste than the earth can handle. So we have to rethink some of our ways, or well, we actually will have to rethink some of our ways at some point.
Yeah, and from an education perspective, that's such a like using chocolate as a way to get some of that messaging out, especially with students and younger kids is very powerful, can be
Yeah.
very powerful. So keep doing that, please.
People know that the price of uh, cacao as a commodity has gone up, and
Significantly.
and a lot of that is because of the Ivory Coast and Ghana drought and flooding conditions and diseases and all that. And that's where the bulk of the chocolates produced for the mass chocolates that's produced in the world.
Yeah.
I don't get any of my chocolate from that region. I go more to Central America and South America and Asia. But yeah, it's continued education about where we're going as a humanity is
Yeah.
worthwhile.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good point. So this is a tough question. So if I go onto your website and I want, like, if I wanted to try one bar, what bar would you want me to start with?
People always ask what's my favorite bar or how
I mean,
I can
ask what your
educate them.
favorite bar is.
So
So I want to go. After we get done, I'm gonna go on and order some chocolate. So what would you want me to start with to really be able to embrace the,
so
your chocolate?
this conversation usually goes something like, well, my palate's not exactly like yours. So I'm not sure what you like for chocolate, but I can get some feeling for what you like from chocolate by asking you what brands, percents you like. So from there,
72%. I'm
okay,
a 70% gal.
yeah,
And I don't I like dark, I'm not a, like I like more the dark. I'm not as crazy about the quote unquote milk, you know. So I'm in that 72% range. And I'm very open when it comes to because I've tasted so much chocolate from so many different sources. The tastes are very diverse.
yeah.
It is amazing. That's the part I don't think people get until they actually, if you sit with like some chocolate companies have like bars that are sourced from the different, and you lay them out and you taste them and you realize the differences in taste from the cacao beans from each of these different countries. It's powerful.
I'm
Um,
very small, so I don't have many beans in inventory, but I have manufactured with over 31 different farms.
wow.
And there are, yeah, what you talk about for the variety of flavor is amazing. The extremes that I've had would be Fiji for extremely caramel taste,
Oh, wow.
a Vietnam that had a licorice tone in it, some Madagascar that's extremely bright fruit. Um, and those um, parts of the spectrum of tastes I've tried to not have as my main lines because it's not it's not something that would hit most people
Right.
for the right market.
That's a good point.
So from what I'm hearing from you, I would probably say that I have 70% for sure. I have 75%, but we'll stay with 70%. And there are three different ones I have right now. There's a one from Colombia, one from the Philippines, and one from Haiti. Um, and I'd probably favor the Colombia one for you, I guess.
Okay. Okay. And your flowers, are they usually made from a certain source? Like, how do you
So the
know,
flowers in the bars are all from the same production.
okay.
They're just
Oh,
different
okay.
molds.
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay. Okay.
So yeah,
Okay. And is
the
that,
flowers.
yeah, what's the flowers, were those inspired by your wife? I mean, you said, you know,
It's just a different packaging.
okay.
So the bars are the main thing, but as I get into more gift type things, there's a glass jar that has about 10 flowers in it.
Oh, cool.
And then as I scale up a little bit, I don't want people to have to pay for glass too much in shipping. So there's a bag that looks more like a coffee bag than a chocolate bag, but that's for shipping or for larger amounts of chocolate with the flowers in them.
Excellent. Well, I'm excited to taste your chocolate, and I would love to meet you in person and do a tour one of these days when I'm up there. I'll be up there mid-April and forward because I'll be working with Nurse Farm, but in Westboro. Don't know where
Okay.
I'm living yet. That I got to figure out. But I will be up there, so I'm excited. I definitely want to connect and talk more about this because it's a passion of mine in so many different ways. And I love to support and help support people who are doing it because I get it, and we need to spread the word about it. And I think the education you're doing, keep doing it. We need it. We so need it. And there's such great messages there. And then there's chocolate to taste. So
yeah, there's fringe benefits.
yes, always in chocolate. So is there anything else you wanted to add, Peter?
So in this education realm of things, there have been some great contacts as well. And a person that has made connections for me and is good for the chocolate industry is also the head of chocolate Cocoa Beantown in Boston. So Boston's nickname is Beantown. So
Yes.
so Chocolate Beantown is appropriate for her name.
Okay.
And she is Victoria Kitchog, and she's a good source for information about chocolate, and for sure.
Okay, definitely. Love to connect with her.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Perfect. Well, it's a pleasure speaking with you. And like I said, I look forward to tasting your chocolate. You'll see my order come through.
Okay.
So
Appreciate it.
all right, so we'll definitely be in touch.
Thank
Okay?
you.
All right, take care. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
I hope our Agri-Tourist podcast prompts you to think more about where your food comes from, whether it be your vegetables, fruits, meats, and even those sweet treats. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with someone you think may truly benefit from or be inspired by it. Visit us at agri-tourist.com. Until next time.